The massive doors of Galactic Unity Academy slid open with a soft hiss. Tom Miller stood at the entrance, his heart beating fast with excitement. He was the first human student to ever attend this prestigious school, and he couldn't help but smile at the thought. The school's hallway was unlike anything he had seen before. The ceiling stretched high above, designed to accommodate students of all sizes. Some aliens floated gracefully through the air, while others slithered or rolled along the floor. A group of tall, thin beings with blue skin walked past him, their four eyes widening at the sight of him. "Look, it's a Deathworlder," one of them whispered, loud enough for Tom to hear. Tom pretended not to notice. He was used to this reaction by now. After all, humans came from Earth, a planet that most species in the galaxy considered extremely dangerous. High gravity, powerful storms, aggressive wildlife, and extreme temperature changes had shaped human evolution in ways that made other species nervous. Principal Blue, a floating orb of shimmering light, approached Tom. "Welcome to Galactic Unity Academy, young human. We are honored to have Earth representation among our students." The principal's voice was kind and seemed to come from everywhere at once. "Thank you, Principal Blue. I'm excited to be here," Tom replied, trying not to stare at the being's strange form. A small robot appeared beside them. "This is Guide Bot 7. It will show you to your first class, Physical Education with Mr. Green." Tom's face lit up. PE was his favorite subject back on Earth. He followed the robot through the winding corridors, watching in amazement as students of different species went about their day. Some had tentacles, others had wings, and a few looked like walking crystals. When they reached the gymnasium, Tom's jaw dropped. The space was enormous, with different gravity zones marked by colored force fields. Equipment of all shapes and sizes filled the room, most of which he didn't recognize. Mr. Green, the PE teacher, was a tall centaurian with 4 arms and metallic skin. He looked at his tablet, then at Tom, then back at his tablet again. "A human, in my class." His voice had a metallic echo to it. "This is unexpected." The other students kept their distance, forming a wide circle around Tom. He could hear them muttering among themselves. "I heard humans can lift 10 times their body weight. My father said they can survive in almost any environment. Look at those dense muscles. They must have evolved in crushing gravity." A small gecko-like student named Pip gathered enough courage to approach Tom. "Is it true that humans run after their prey until it dies of exhaustion?" Pip asked, their scales changing color with curiosity. Before Tom could answer, Mr. Green called the class to order. "Today, we'll start with basic stretches. Everyone find your species appropriate zone and begin your warm-up routines." Tom looked around, uncertain where to go. The gravity zones were marked with different planetary classifications, but he didn't see Earth's classification anywhere. Mr. Green." Tom raised his hand. "Which zone should I use?" The teacher paused, consulting his tablet again. "According to your file, Earth is a Class 12 planet." Several students gasped. "But we don't have a Class 12 zone. Our highest is Class 8. Mr. Green scratched his metallic head with one of his 4 hands. Just use the Class 8 zone for now. And please, be careful with the equipment." Tom nodded and walked into the highest gravity zone. The other students watched in amazement as he moved easily through what was supposed to be crushing gravity. To him, it felt lighter than Earth's normal gravity. As he began his stretches, Tom couldn't help but notice how the other students whispered and pointed. Some looked scared, others fascinated. He sighed quietly. This was going to be an interesting semester, that was for sure. At least no one could say his first day was boring. He just hoped he wouldn't accidentally break anything. Back on Earth, his mom always said he didn't know his own strength. Here, among beings evolved for much gentler worlds, that could be a real problem. All new students must complete a standard physical assessment, Mr. Green announced, his metallic voice echoing through the gymnasium. "Tom Miller, since you're our newest arrival, you'll go first." Tom stepped forward while the other students backed away, creating an even larger circle around him. The gecko-like student, Pip, had turned a pale shade of green with anxiety. Mr. Green pressed some buttons on his tablet, and a holographic course appeared in the center of the gym. This is our basic fitness evaluation course. It tests strength, speed, agility, and endurance. The course adjusts to each species' natural abilities. The teacher paused, frowning at his tablet. Though I must admit, we've never calibrated it for human parameters. Should I just try my best? Tom asked, looking at the obstacle course with interest. Yes, but please, be gentle with the equipment. Mr. Green's 4 hands were nervously adjusting various settings on the control panel. The first station was a simple lifting test. A hovering metal sphere appeared, waiting to be picked up. This sphere will gradually increase in weight until you can no longer lift it, Mr. Green explained. Just tap it twice when you want to stop. Tom reached out and grabbed the sphere. It felt like picking up a balloon. Starting weight: 50 standard units, announced the automated system. Tom waited as the sphere got heavier and heavier and heavier. The alien student started murmuring when he passed 200 units. At 400 units, even Mr. Green's metallic face showed surprise. At 800 units, warning lights started flashing on the control panel. Should I stop? Tom asked, still holding the sphere with one hand, not even feeling tired. Please do. Mr. Green's voice cracked with concern. The system isn't designed to go much higher. Tom gently set down the sphere, which left a small dent in the reinforced floor. A few crystal-like students made chiming sounds of distress. Next came the speed test. Tom had to run through a series of floating rings. He jogged at what felt like an easy pace to him, but the sensors started beeping frantically. That's faster than our cargo transport ships, one floating student whispered in awe. The agility course was trickier. Tom had to dodge holographic obstacles while maintaining his balance on a shifting platform. He moved carefully, very aware that one wrong step with his Earth-evolved strength could break the expensive equipment. Look how he controls his movements. Pip had changed to a bright orange color, apparently the gecko equivalent of excitement. It must take incredible strength just to hold back his strength. The final test was endurance. Students had to maintain a steady pace of exercise while their vital signs were monitored. After 20 minutes, Tom hadn't even broken a sweat, while the monitoring system had given up trying to understand his readings. Well, Mr. Green said finally, all 4 arms hanging limp at his sides, this is unprecedented. According to these readings, you could probably. He paused, double-checking his tablet. Outperform our entire advanced athletics class combined. Tom shuffled his feet uncomfortably. Sorry. Don't apologize, Mr. Green said, regaining his composure. This is exactly why the Galactic Unity Academy exists, to understand and learn from our differences. He turned to address the whole class. Today we've learned something important about human physical capabilities, and perhaps more importantly, about control and restraint. The other students were looking at Tom differently now. There was still fear, yes, but also fascination and respect. Pip had even scooted a little closer. Next week, Mr. Green continued, we'll begin our team sports unit. I expect everyone to remember that strength isn't everything. Each species has its own unique advantages. Tom nodded, hoping he'd get a chance to prove he could be a good teammate despite his intimidating capabilities. He just had to be careful not to break anything, or anyone, in the process. A week had passed since Tom's physical assessment, and the gym class was trying something new. Mr. Green had set up what he called an all-species agility course, a complex maze of platforms, ropes, and anti-gravity zones. Today's exercise is about awareness, Mr. Green explained, his metallic skin gleaming under the gym lights. Each section is designed for different physical abilities. Work together to complete the course. Tom stood at the starting line with Pip and a floating student named Blue Bubble. They had been grouped together because no one else volunteered to work with the human. "I'll take the anti-gravity zones." Blue Bubble hummed cheerfully, their translucent body pulsing with light. "And I can handle the wall-climbing sections." Pitt's scales shifted to a confident purple. Tom nodded. "I guess I'll manage the heavy gravity zones." He tried to sound casual, though he was worried about breaking something again. The first few obstacles went smoothly. Blue Bubble gracefully navigated the zero-gravity mazes, while Pip scampered up vertical surfaces with impressive speed. Tom carefully made his way through his sections, conscious of every movement. Then they reached the strength balance platform. It was a floating disc that needed perfect weight distribution to stay stable. The three teammates had to cross it together. "Remember," Mr. Green called out, "the platform responds to pressure. Too much force will overload its systems." Tom stepped onto the platform as gently as he could. It wobbled slightly but stayed level. Pip joined him, adding almost no weight. Blue Bubble floated above, providing gentle downward pressure to help balance them. They were halfway across when another team's anti-gravity section malfunctioned. A crystal student came tumbling through the air, headed straight for Pip. Tom didn't think. He just reacted. With one swift movement, he reached out and caught the crystal student before they could crash into his teammate. But the sudden motion and added weight was too much for the platform. There was a loud crack. The platform's surface splintered under Tom's feet. Warning lights flashed everywhere. "Everyone off!" Mr. Green shouted, his forearms working frantically at the control panel. Blue Bubble quickly floated away. Pip leaped to safety. Tom, still holding the crystal student, looked for a safe place to land. The platform was breaking apart beneath him. With no other choice, he jumped. It was a long drop to the gym floor, but Earth's gravity was much stronger than this. He landed hard, absorbing the impact with his legs, cradling the crystal student carefully in his arms. The platform crashed behind them, pieces of advanced alien technology scattering across the floor. The gym fell silent. "Are you okay?" Tom asked the crystal student, gently setting them down. The student's crystalline surface flickered with different colors. You saved me. But aren't humans supposed to be dangerous?" "We can be," Tom admitted, "but that doesn't mean we want to be. I just didn't want you to get hurt." Mr. Green hurried over, scanning both of them for injuries. "The platform is completely destroyed," he said, but his tone wasn't angry. "However, your quick thinking prevented what could have been a serious accident." The other students gathered around, their fear mixed with curiosity and something new. Respect. "That was amazing." Pip bounced excitedly, now a bright yellow color. "You controlled all that strength just to save someone." "Indeed," Mr. Green said thoughtfully. "Perhaps it's time we all learned that being physically strong doesn't mean being dangerous. Tom has shown us that power can be used to protect others." Tom felt his face grow hot with embarrassment, but he was smiling. Maybe being the Deathworlder wasn't just about being scary. Maybe it was about using what made him different to help others. 2 days after the platform incident, Tom sat in Professor Starr's planetary science class. The professor, a tall being made of swirling gas held together by a containment field, was explaining planetary classifications. "Today, we'll discuss how different homeworlds shape species evolution." Professor Starr's voice whispered like a gentle breeze. "Tom, would you mind if we used Earth as an example?" All eyes turned to Tom. After the gym incident, his classmates seemed more curious than afraid. "Sure," Tom said, sitting up straighter in his reinforced chair. A hologram of Earth appeared in the center of the classroom. "Earth is classified as a Class 12 death world," Professor Starr explained. "Can anyone tell us why?" Pitt's hand shot up, their scales turning a bright scholarly blue. "High gravity, extreme temperature variations, and dangerous wildlife." "Correct. Earth's gravity is 3.2 times stronger than our galactic standard." "Tom, this is why you can lift so much in gym class." The hologram zoomed in to show Earth's varied landscapes. But gravity isn't the only challenge. Earth experiences temperatures from below freezing to scorching heat, sometimes in the same location. Blue Bubble bobbed up and down excitedly. Is that why humans have internal temperature regulation? We learned about that in biology. Exactly. Professor Star swirled happily. Humans like Tom can survive in temperatures that would kill many species. They also have remarkable healing abilities and can repair broken bones naturally. The crystal student Tom had saved raised a glittering hand. They have bones filled with living tissue, right? Not like my crystalline structure. Correct again. Human bones constantly rebuild themselves. This is another adaptation to Earth's high gravity. Tom listened with growing interest. He'd never thought about how special these ordinary human traits seemed to others. But the most fascinating adaptation, Professor Starr continued, is human endurance. Tom, is it true that humans used to hunt by chasing prey until it collapsed from exhaustion? Yeah, it's called persistence hunting, Tom explained. We're not the fastest, but we can run for hours without stopping. We cool off by sweating and can eat while moving. Several students made sounds of amazement. A floating tentacle creature spoke up. But why develop such scary abilities? Survival, Professor Starr answered. Earth's challenges forced humans to become tough. But remember, abilities aren't good or bad by themselves. It's how they're used that matters. The professor changed the hologram to show different alien worlds. Each of your species developed unique adaptations. Blue Bubble's people can float through space. Pip's species can climb any surface and change color. The crystal people can survive extreme pressure. Tom looked around the classroom with new appreciation. Every student was remarkable in their own way. That's why this academy exists, Professor Starr concluded. Not to fear our differences, but to learn from them. Tom's strength might seem scary, but he used it to save a classmate. Pit's climbing abilities might seem strange to some, but they're perfect for certain tasks. The bell chimed, signaling the end of class. As students gathered their things, several approached Tom with questions about Earth. The crystal student he'd saved even invited him to join their study group. We could use someone with your unique perspective, they said, their crystal surface glowing warmly. Walking to his next class, Tom felt lighter despite Earth's scary adaptations. Maybe being different wasn't so bad. After all, every species in the galaxy was different in their own way. He just hoped this new understanding would help when they started team sports next week. Being accepted was one thing. Being chosen as a teammate was another challenge entirely. Attention, students. Principal Blue's glowing form hovered at the front of the gym. It's time to announce this year's Interspecies Sports Festival. The gym buzzed with excitement. Tom sat on his reinforced bench, watching as holographic displays appeared showing previous year's events. Each team must have at least 3 different species, Mr. Green explained, his metallic skin reflecting the hologram's lights. The festival includes events designed to test various abilities, strength, speed, agility, and problem-solving. Tom's heart sank as students quickly formed into groups, carefully avoiding him. Even Pip, who had become friendlier lately, was already part of a team with Blue Bubble and some crystal students. Remember, Principal Blue continued, winning isn't about having the strongest or fastest team. Last year's champions won because they used each species' unique abilities creatively. Mr. Green displayed the event list on the giant screen. Zero gravity maze race, strength challenge course, multi-environment relay, team problem solving, obstacle course navigation. Tom understood why nobody wanted him on their team. They'd probably thought his human strength would be considered cheating. Hey, a quiet voice said behind him, need a team. Tom turned to see Ray, a student made of living light who had trouble maintaining physical form. Next to Ray stood Max, a heavy gravity creature who moved slowly but had incredible defense abilities. You want me on your team? Tom asked, surprised. Why not? Ray flickered nervously. Everyone else ignores us because Ray can't hold solid form for long, and they think I'm too slow, Max rumbled. We're the outcasts. Tom smiled. Then we'll be outcasts together. They registered their team, drawing surprised looks from others. Mr. Green raised his eyebrows, all four of them, but approved their registration. But how can we compete? Tom wondered. I mean, Ray can barely touch anything. I might break everything, and Max. That's exactly why we'll win. Ray brightened literally. Nobody expects anything from us. We can surprise them. They found a quiet corner to discuss strategy. Ray could navigate the zero-gravity sections perfectly, being made of light. Max's dense body and protective shell made them perfect for defense. And Tom's strength and endurance could help in multiple events. Plus, Max added, moving their heavy form slowly, Tom can carry me through speed sections, and I can anchor him in zero gravity. Other teams watched them practice, whispering among themselves. Some laughed at their odd combination, but a few looked worried. They're starting to realize, Ray flickered excitedly. We each make up for the other's weaknesses. Tom felt a tap on his shoulder. It was Pip, their scales a curious orange color. Everyone thought you'd be a problem in the festival, Pip said. Too strong, too dangerous, but you found a way to use your abilities to help others instead. That's what teammates do, Tom replied. We look out for each other. Principal Blue floated by, observing their practice. Interesting combination, they hummed. A human's strength, a light being's mobility, and a heavy worlder's defense. Very interesting indeed. As they continued practicing, Tom realized something important. On Earth, he'd always tried to hold back, to seem normal. But here, being different wasn't a weakness. It was exactly what his teammates needed. 3 days until the festival, Max rumbled. Think we're ready? Tom watched Ray zip through a light maze while Max practiced their defensive formations. We're not the strongest team, or the fastest, he said. But we understand each other. Sometimes that's more important. They might be the outcasts, but they were outcasts together. And sometimes, that's exactly what makes a winning team. The next few days were the busiest Tom had ever experienced at the Galactic Unity Academy. Every free moment was spent practicing with Ray and Max in the gym's special training area. Okay, let's try the relay handoff again, Tom said, watching Ray's glowing form zip through the zero-gravity zone. The challenge was finding a way for a being made of light to pass a physical baton. I think I've got it. Ray flickered excitedly. They had discovered that by concentrating hard, Ray could create a small solid point of light for exactly 2 seconds, just enough time to handle the baton. Max moved their heavy form into position. Remember, timing is everything. They practiced the move again and again. Ray would solidify briefly to grab the baton, zoom through the zero-gravity section. Then Tom would catch it and carry Max through the speed portion. Finally, Max would use their dense form to anchor them all in the gravity shift zone. Mr. Green watched them from across the gym, all 4 arms crossed thoughtfully. Remarkable, he muttered to himself. They're actually making it work. Other teams were practicing too. Some had obvious advantages. Teams of naturally athletic species who could easily handle most challenges. But Tom's team had something different. They had to think creatively about every single event. Look at this, Max called them over during a break. Their heavy form had sketched out a plan on a datapad. If Tom carries me through the strength course, my weight will actually help score more points. The rules say nothing against it. Tom grinned. What others saw as Max's weakness, their extremely dense form, could become their strength. Just like how Ray's inability to stay solid meant they could move through barriers that stopped everyone else. And I've been practicing too, Tom said, demonstrating how he had learned to control his strength better. He could now pick up delicate objects without breaking them, and his movements had become more precise. A small crowd of students had gathered to watch them practice. Among them was Pip, their scales shifting between curious yellow and impressed green. They're using their differences as advantages, Pip explained to the crystal student next to them. See how the human strength makes up for the heavy one's slow speed, and how the light being can scout ahead in areas others can't reach. Ray zoomed back from another practice run. I heard some other teams are worried about us now. They flickered happily. They thought we'd be easy to beat, but now they're not so sure. Good, Max rumbled. Let them worry. We know what we can do. As the day's practice ended, Mr. Green approached their team. I must admit, he said, his metallic voice carrying a note of pride. When you three first teamed up, I had doubts. But you've shown remarkable innovation and teamwork. We just stopped trying to be like everyone else, Tom explained. Instead, we found ways to make our differences work for us. The teacher nodded, all four arms gesturing expressively. That's exactly what this academy is about. Not trying to make everyone the same, but learning to work together despite, or rather, because of, our differences. As they packed up their practice gear, Tom looked at his teammates. Ray was literally glowing with excitement, while Max moved with more confidence than ever before. One more day of practice, Tom said. Tomorrow we'll run through the whole course one last time. And then we show everyone what a team of outcasts can do. Ray finished, brightening the whole room with their enthusiasm. Together, Max added firmly, their heavy form creating a small tremor of determination. Tom nodded. Win or lose, they had already proven something important. Being different wasn't a weakness. It was their greatest strength. The day of the Interspecies Sports Festival arrived. The gymnasium had been transformed into a massive arena with different environmental zones connected by glowing pathways. Hundreds of spectators filled the floating bleachers, including representatives from various planetary systems. Welcome to the 50th Annual Interspecies Sports Festival. Principal Blue's voice echoed through the arena. Today, 12 teams will compete in 5 events, demonstrating the power of diversity and cooperation. Tom stood with Ray and Max in the preparation area, watching other teams warm up. Some looked confident, others nervous. A few shot curious glances at the unusual trio. First event, Zero Gravity Maze Race, announced Mr. Green. Ray zoomed forward, their light form perfect for the complex maze. They weaved through barriers that solid beings couldn't pass, taking an early lead for their team. The crowd gasped as Ray finished first, giving them valuable points. Look at that speed, the announcer exclaimed. The light beam's unique form turns what some call a weakness into an incredible advantage. The strength challenge came next. Tom carefully carried Max through the course, their combined weights scoring maximum points on the pressure plates. What seemed like a disadvantage, Max's heavy form, had become their secret weapon. Remarkable strategy. Principal Blue commented, using the heavy worlder's density to amplify the human strength. By the third event, other teams were watching them closely. During the multi-environment relay, they executed their practiced handoff perfectly. Ray solidified just long enough to pass the baton. Tom's careful control prevented any accidents, and Max's dense form anchored them in the gravity shift zone. They weren't winning every event, but they were consistently scoring well. More importantly, they were showing everyone something new about teamwork. The fourth event, Team Problem Solving, proved challenging. They had to navigate a complex puzzle room where each member's unique abilities were needed. Ray could scout through walls, Max could hold position against gravity shifts, and Tom's endurance let him try multiple solutions without tiring. Final event, Mr. Green announced, the Obstacle Course Navigation. This was the big one. All team members had to finish together. They started strong, with Ray lighting the way through dark sections and Tom helping Max through speed zones. Everything was going perfectly until a crystal team member ahead of them slipped on an anti-gravity pad, spinning out of control toward a high-voltage barrier. Without hesitation, Tom leaped forward, using his Earth-evolved strength to catch them, while Ray quickly created a light bridge to help them land safely. Max anchored everyone with their dense form, preventing further accidents. They lost precious seconds helping the crystal student, but none of them regretted it. When they finally crossed the finish line, the crowd erupted in cheers. And now, Principal Blue announced the final scores. Tom, Ray, and Max held their breath. They had done well, but would it be enough? In third place, Team Crystal Light. In second place, Team Gravity Masters. And in first place, the arena fell silent. Team Unity. Our unusual trio of human, light being, and heavy worlder. The crowd exploded with applause. Even the other teams were cheering. They won not just through physical ability, Principal Blue explained, but by understanding a fundamental truth. Our differences make us stronger together. As they received their medals, Tom looked at his teammates, Ray glowing brighter than ever, Max standing tall and proud. He remembered his first day, when everyone was terrified of the Deathworlder in their class. You know what? Tom said to his friends. Being different isn't so bad after all. Different is exactly what we needed to be. Ray flickered happily. Together, Max rumbled, we're unbeatable. And in that moment, in a gym full of beings from across the galaxy, nobody was afraid of the Deathworlder anymore. They were too busy celebrating what different species could achieve together.